Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everybody. My name is Mohammad Hasan Sultan and I'm representing Thali. Thali in Effort. Thali in Effort is a non-profit which was registered as a trust back in 2009.
If you can just test the remote if it's working. Yes, it should. Yes.
There you go. Thank you. Thanks, Saad. Thali was a trust that has been registered since 2009. Informally, we've been working on it since 2007. We tried actually getting it registered as an NGO, but our CEO had to make 37 trips to the SECP, the Security and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, to get registered. And unfortunately, it still hasn't been possible. So that's one of the things that we'll be talking about the bureaucracy in the city. That goes on, that prevents people who are willing to do something good, but there are many hurdles that come along the way. The main reason Thali is basically, it was created to feed the less fortunate through meals the more fortunate take for granted. And that has become our motto. It is feeding the less fortunate through meals the more fortunate take for granted. We're trying to promote social responsibility in both the food service provider industry and the patrons themselves. The thing about Thali is it's a very simple concept. We collect fresh excess food from service providers, from hotels, restaurants, caterers, wedding halls, parties, corporate events. Anybody who feels that they might have excess food, even if at home you're having a dinner party, you have some excess food left over, give us a call. We'll send somebody over, we'll come ourselves, and we'll repack it and distribute it to anybody who's needy. So we're in the business of food rescue, essentially. Everything that we collect is of high quality. We're not redistributing anything that is low quality or that might be going bad. It's all food which is, all of us can eat the same day within 24 hours. If we can't distribute immediately, we'll be either freezing it and reheating it the next day and then distributing it amongst people who are definitely needy in our area. And that's the biggest thing is that we all need to realize that how many people are actually needy in Pakistan, in Islamabad, in Rawalpindi, in all the cities across Pakistan. These are some of the projects that we do. This is a bunch of bags that were donated by UFON, actually. They're one of the corporations in the area that are actually doing corporate social responsibility on the side. They don't even advertise this, I believe. That's something that we did with the tents during flood relief. We also do events with kids making fresh food for young kids who are in free schools, basically. The Thali concept. Again, what Thali basically is just we're taking leftover food and we're repackaging it and giving it to the first needy person we see. So we came up with the Thali concept, which means that if you're going out to eat to a restaurant or buffet, whatever, and you have food left over, which most likely you usually do, just Thali it. And Thali it means just ask your waiter to bring a little bag or a little meal pack and just pack it up, and on your way back home, give it to somebody who you might feel might be needing it. And I'm sure you'll see a lot of people like that on the way home. That's the unfortunate part in Pakistan, in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, is that you will see somebody who could actually use a free meal. These people might not be begging. They might actually be selling something on the street. They might be begging even, but that's what they'll probably be begging on the, with the reason that we need to get something to eat. So there's a free meal right there. And the point of giving a free meal is we know that we can't really solve world hunger or hunger in Pakistan as on its own. But every meal counts, and we're taking it one day at a time. So we actually really believe that if you Thali it, you become a hero. You are a superhero because you're helping one person go to sleep with a full stomach one night. And you're welcome to wear a cape and feel like a superhero as well. We definitely approve. So that money that people are actually using to buy food for their families and everything, it can actually be used for shelter, for education, to buy themselves clothes and everything. So that's the main concept, is to support them with a little income on the side. That's on the tagline that we have, Khali karo ya Thali karo. And that's again aimed at restaurant patrons. Is that either you have a plate of food and either you finish it up, gobble up that whole steak, or you set aside a portion right in the beginning and you put it in a meal pack, or thali it basically. Khali karo ya Thali karo. Then on the way home, give it to somebody who might need it. And believe me, you'll see a lot of people and you'll see how grateful they are just for that meal. I think they'll be happier that you give them that meal rather than 20 rupees or 30 rupees, which God knows if there's a lot of begging mafia that's involved in Islamabad and Rawalpindi and everywhere. So again, the Khali karo Thali karo concept is basically taking excess food and it's preventing the wastage. That's the point is that it's food that's going to be thrown out most likely by these restaurants, by these restaurant managers and owners because they cannot store it for the next day. It has, they cannot, keep it in the buffets and serve it to somebody else. So the point being is that we're not soliciting people to be, giving food, money out of their own pocket. It's just food that's there, that's being wasted. And that same food is actually being, trucked off into, food farms, fish food farms. It's used as meal for animals, and or just thrown in the garbage. We've actually approached, 5-star restaurants and hotels, and we asked them, what do you do with the excess food that is left every night in buffets? And they usually lie and say, oh, we take care of it, we give it to the poor. But we've actually seen them throw it out, and it just goes to the garbage. And then you see people coming and picking up food. Little kids and adults actually, getting food out, and that's disgusting, actually. In the day and age that we live in, it's unbelievable that we have to put up with this. We're looking forward to City 2.0, and yet living in Islamabad and Rawalpindi, we have the seats of power of this nation, and yet we still have to put up with BS like this, unfortunately. Here are some facts about hunger. Every year, 15 million worldwide die of hunger. And that is just a staggering amount. These are preventable deaths. It's just sad that children are the first brunt of hunger, basically. Hunger kills more people than AIDS, malaria, and TB combined. People don't realize, you might not see people, that are in Ethiopia. You see those little poor babies who are very skinny and dehydrated in Pakistan. That's the lucky thing going for us is that we are an agricultural society and we have, irrigation. But they say we're just one bad monsoon away from having the same famine conditions that are in Somalia and Ethiopia these days. And what are we doing? The same thing goes with water conservation as well. People are not conserving water. It's the same thing. Everybody in I think Islamabad, Rawalpindi, most people have water boring done in their households, but yet everybody washes the car every day. So what's that about? There's no public service message about people conserve water, take a shorter shower, don't wash your car every day. Things like this, it's about excess resources which needs to be utilized properly. 1 in 7 people will go to sleep hungry tonight, and I'm sure everybody has faced hunger. Everybody in this room has when probably we fast. We know hunger for a few hours, but at the end of it, we all know that we're going to get some food to eat, and that's the difference between us and 1 out of 7 people in the world. Be a part of Thali. We don't actively solicit donations. What we do actively solicit is participation. Yes, from time to time, people do give us money from our friends, from our family, from mysterious strangers. But what we really need is people to be stepping up and helping us out. And that is the most important thing, is that people get involved in this, whether it's with us, whether it's on their own. Spread the message of Thali. Call it whatever you want. It's not about the glory of Thali. That's not why we're doing this. It's about this concept. And I'm sure people have done it in this room, is that you've taken leftovers and you've given it to somebody on your way home. But you don't realize how much that actually helps and how often you could be doing it. So that's actually what we solicit is that people get involved with organizations, and we have people here today, who we have worked with, who are, the Green Volunteers. You'll be, Ramiz will be speaking tonight as well. That's what we need. We need people to be stepping up and take our city to the next level. That's the only way that things are going to actually work out. At Thali, we have this concept of the parallel universe, and it's quantum physics basically. They say that there's the same you in another universe, but you can be in totally different circumstances. So do unto others as you would have do unto you. That's the way we need to be treating people who are less fortunate with us, and we don't realize that they, we need to be more empathetic. Not to say that people aren't already, but I guess we all get. And I'm probably one of the, I'll say I'm guilty of it too. We get caught up in TV, in Facebook, and work and family. But we really need to be working about the global family. That's what the city's about. It's about a family. It's a community. One thing that this is dialogue that I remember from a movie which always gets to me. It was a documentary, semi-documentary, where a woman a woman is being asked by her boyfriend who's breaking up with her that he finds out that she was in jail, and he asks her why were you in jail, and she's like I heard a man, and I heard a man because he heard a child, and she says he asked was it your child, and she asks does it matter whose child it is, And then I still remember that dialogue. I can't get it out of my head that it does not matter whose child it is, or whose brother it is, whose mother it is. We are a family, and until we realize that we're a community and we need to look out for each other, things aren't going to go good. So we have this other concept of parallel governance is that we blame everything on the government. It's not. We've been, 65 years, Pakistan's been around, and we're just hoping the next government might do something. And we blame, our politicians, government officials. But what are we doing as citizens? Any leader who might be elected, no matter how inspiring he is, unless we as a community, as a people step up and try to do change on our own and hold those people accountable, nothing is going to make a difference. We cannot let a generation of essentially, vipers. We have vipers in, government and bureaucracy everywhere who are, they are a generation of Neros who are fiddling while our cities burn. So we need to step up and make those Neros into zeros. That's what we think. And one of the ways to do that is actually, remember, go back to the time when you were a kid, when you were full of energy, full of inspiration. I remember opening clubs with my siblings. We had, a club for this, let's do this, and we did that. Let's do it today. You can do it today. That's essentially what Thali is all about. It's an effort, And, open, if you're passionate about any topic under the sun, do it. Get your friends involved, make a Facebook group, make a website. And I'm sure as an adult, you'll be able to accomplish a lot more than you would as, versus what you did as a kid. But it's that's what we need. We need that passion back in society. Going back to Thali, as far as hurdles we have faced, again, I told you about the registration issues. We're registered as a trust, not an NGO. We still don't have a bank account because there's too much red tape, and I'll blame it on the bureaucrats basically. The government and the bureaucrats. There's a lack of commitment sometimes between our volunteers that we have. People think that just by liking Facebook, you're an actual volunteer. But unless you actually show up on the day when you're needed, it doesn't make much of a difference. So, again, everybody needs to step up. Little support by large organizations, by the five-star hotels. Everybody knows who they are. As patrons of those hotels, you need to be talking. If you feel that Thali is something that is worthwhile, you need to be talking about this to the managers. To the owners, I'm sure a lot of people even know the owners of these hotels. So talk to them about it and make them, be under pressure to find out, what are they doing with the waste? What are they doing for the poor? They need to be held responsible. These are some of the projects that we've had. We had a pick a plate distribution where we give hot soup and food to the policemen at pickets. And everybody, I'm sure in Islamabad especially, loves to hate police officers and hates to love them. But we try and give them some love and show them that what they do is actually important. And that's what Thali is. Again, it's not just, our core focus is on hunger, but we're trying to address every kind of social issue that we can address. We had dental and medical camps. Then we do distribute food. Be My Guest is our core project where we approach restaurants and ask them to give food, excess food. Food for Thought is where we have sponsored lunch picnics for kids of low-income schools. Pick a Plate is again with the police officers. Ramadan distribution is where we distribute iftar and meal dinner packs with during Ramadan, and it's actually the busiest time of the year, and it's not surprising as everybody gets into the charitable mode during Ramadan. It's actually, if you look at a graph, it's like this, and it just flattens out to the rest of the year, and it's kind of sad because what we feel at Thali is that the word zakat, if you look at it in the Quran, the root meaning of the word zakat means betterment. It means improvement. And it doesn't mean just your monetary, your donation. It means what you do with your time, with your blood, sweat, and tears. So again, I'll exhort everybody to participate with us, do it on your own, do something. It's not just about money. Donations are not just about money. We do ration bag distribution where we make little packs of dal and oil and a whole bunch of stuff which will last the family for about a month or so. And these are people that we know that don't beg, who are just legitimately they're needy. Spreading Smiles, we give toys to the different communities, the Muslim community on Eid and to the Christian community on Christmas. We're getting into the water conservation and sponsor child, feed a family. How food actually gets wasted. Crops are left unharvested because, especially abroad, they don't hold up to the standards that are needed to be on display at the supermarket. So they literally go into the trash, or they just don't get harvested and go to waste. You have your household waste. They say, we don't have stats for Pakistan, but for America, they say 1 pound of food is wasted per person in a U.S. household. Okay, 1 pound per day. Restaurant waste, supermarkets, and grocery stores. I mean, just imagine, with their corporate structures, how much food is actually wasting. Here's a sobering fact. 47 million Americans are on food assistance. Okay, and this is a so-called developed world. 47 million people get food stamps in the U.S. Okay, and that is essentially, they get these stamps, which they take to the supermarket and they get food, but it's because they are at a very low income level. And the sad part is that they're actually making it illegal. Look this up. I kid you not. People are actually, most major cities are making it illegal to give food to the poor, to the homeless, okay, without a permit. You have to apply, you have to go to the municipal corporation or wherever and ask that, hey, can I distribute food to the people? This is ridiculous. This is what government does to you, basically. That if you're not alert and awake, this is what they do. They'll legislate that you cannot do it. And they only do it basically so, those homeless people don't drive down their real estate prices, and, they're not a burden on society. Another stat is 80% of the food budget for the developing world is basically on food. Most families here spend 80%, and that goes for all poor people. I'm sure rich people in Pakistan and abroad, they only spend 15%. Okay, so that's why whenever food raises, why they're the people who are actually hurting. 63 people play Farmville, okay, on Facebook. I'm sure most of the people have heard of it, and the fact is that if only half of them actually planted a small garden in the available room that they have in the kitchen garden, they could actually make $15 billion of food, which could be feeding themselves with their family, or it could actually just by having extra supply, you would actually drive down the price of food that is available in the market. Thali's future plans that we have a roadside vendor project, which is basically giving microloans to people. People that you see on the street, newspaper hawkers who are not begging. We're trying to give them some self-sustainable, like a little shop, mobile shop. Water conservation that I already talked about, kitchen gardens as well, and collaborating. We love collaborating with people. I've met a bunch of inspiring and amazing people in Thali, And it's just amazing how devoted people are, and we just feed off of each other's energy, and we would love to continue to do that. Okay, so this is the last thing that I'll say to you is basically, Thali tonight. I'm sure most of you, once we're done here, you're probably either going to go out to eat, you're going to grab a bite, at the fast food or whatnot. So Thali it, do your last, your first good deed, your first Thali it today. Buy an extra meal, maybe buy an extra burger and give it to the first person you see. Give it to your chowkidar in your house or outside your house, or save it for tomorrow. Or when you sit down at the table, have you and somebody else who you're probably eating with, split up your meal or give a quarter of it, and just pack it up and give it to the first person. That's Thali, and that's what I'm here for tonight. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.